I recently just completed a chest of drawers project, and during that time I realized that having some type of bench vise would have been very beneficial. Now in my previous shop and on my previous work table, I made a removable sliding moxon vise out of some pipe clamps and scrap plywood. And it worked really well, but as time progressed, it just became a little bit inconvenient to set it up and then take it down. It was always in the way when I wasn't using it, and then when I needed it, it wasn't where I wanted it. So I don't have that anymore, but instead of making something very similar to it to sit on top, I want to make a twin pipe clamp style bench vise to go on the end of this particular work table. Just like the previous vise, I don't want to spend any more money on this than what I already have here at the shop, so I'm going to use a couple old pipe clamps that I have and some scrap plywood. I'm going to start by cutting and gluing together the pieces for the movable jaw. Sometimes when you glue together a bunch of panels like this, things can get a little crazy during the glue up process. So to make things a little bit less stressful on me, I'm going to go ahead and use biscuits. My work table already has these openings on the end, but I'm actually going to cover all of this up with a stationary rear jaw. And in order to have something for the pipes to grab to on the inside, I want something that has a little bit of mass, that way it'll prevent the pipes from sagging. So what I'm going to do is stack 3 pieces of 2x lumber, one in front of another. But in order to get these to stand up inside there while still keeping the same exact height as the opening, you have to take into consideration the longest dimension, which is the diagonal when you rotate something in place. So if I line this up at the bottom and rotate it into place like this, you can see that it's actually taking up space where the top piece is. So in order to get it to stand up, I've cut a 1" by 1" chamfer along the bottom side, and I'll do this to all 3 pieces, and that way they can stand up like so, and then I can secure one to the next as I put them in place. A 7/8 of an inch hole is needed for standard 1/2 inch pipe. Each side will have 3 of these supports, and once I get 2 in place, I'll line them up with the pipe just to make sure it's all in line with one another, and then secure them to one another with a couple screws. Then remove the pipe, slide these back, insert the 3rd one, line them up with the pipe, and secure these with screws as well. I don't want the rear jaw of the pipe clamp itself to move around at all. I want it to be stationary inside the table. So I'm going to drill a couple holes into each one, and then once the pipe is inserted, this part of the pipe clamp can be secured to the bench with screws. already marked the location of the holes in the front jaw on both the inside face and the outside face. And I'm going to cut these with a plunge router. These aren't perfect circles, they're actually slots, horizontal slots. And you want to have extra leeway in the horizontal direction for the pipes, because when this jaw, because it's so wide, when it moves in and out, if you don't have any slack horizontally, this is going to bind. And also because there is some slack horizontally, you can skew this to one side for clamping irregular shaped objects in the actual vise. You don't want any play up and down though. The more gap that you have in between the pipe and the actual jaw in the vertical direction, the more chances are you're going to have this thing wanting to rack on the bottom side when you clamp something down. Before the final assembly, the stationary jaw can be cut to length and the holes drilled for the pipes. It's done. I didn't spend a dime, and I really like the way that this is working out so far. It's just a huge vise for very little money. So I've got 24 inches in between the clamps, so if I need to, for whatever reason, put a wide panel in there and work on the end, then you can do so. The pipes are about 2.5 inches down, so there's still clamping area above. If you want to use that for a longer panel, you can do so very easily. And it's fully supported along the whole length here. And then also, it's not symmetrical. This pipe over here is offset to one side a little bit, and that is to give a little bit more room off to one side over here. And an example for something like that is if you're using, let's say this is a shelf with some solid wood edge banding, and you don't want to clamp down on the edge banding with it in here. So you can clamp it over to one side. Now it's going to skew the jaw just a little bit, so you need something of the same thickness over here to stop it. And then you're over here just using one of the clamps, and that's not going anywhere at all either. So I think this is going to get a lot of use, and I'm looking forward to using it. Oh, also, I can drill some holes in here and put some dogs to use the rest of the dog holes in this particular table. So that's going to be handy to do. And I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.